Alright, I think we live chatting about hobby stuff. We're back, everybody. I know I'm excited to be back. We have a lot to talk about, right? Wink wink. Probably not.
Yeah, we do.
um
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
I mean I know all of us are like fingers all going on almost.
Oh
So
yeah.
was that was just that is just true. So um though I will say it does go in some stages like I do pay more now and again. So I would say now is not one of those times. Stuff. That's fine. Um, how's everybody doing? Anything new and exciting? Absolutely.
Uh, Not really hobby related. I
Well,
suppose uh I think maybe it was last week we mentioned it, but we talked for a little while about Hive Scum had a pretty excellent interview with a variety of people from Adepticon, including Alex Winberg, formerly 28, now Trench Crusade, and Isaac Tobin Weirding Way, among others. But they recently released another one with Trent, or probably better known as Miscast Miniatures, Miscast Terrain, which I guess I haven't listened to all of it because it's like over an hour long, but also seems pretty good.
do we think this
Yeah,
means
like
like your hive scum will think this is just mainly because they were at a depth had the opportunity at work and stuff like this? I haven't listened. I listened to a bunch of them we talked about last week, but not any of this.
will you
Going,
repeat that question actually? I
oh,
don't. My guess is they did this because of Adepticon and such. It just gave them the opportunity to speak and interview more people, sit down with them. I don't suspect they're gonna dramatically change the format of their show. Perhaps
No,
they'll
I mean,
try to
Trent has
interview
been
more.
staying with Gage for a little bit. I mean, he's from Australia, of course, and it was expensive to get over here. And I mean, they talked about when he was going to go back to Australia, but like was spending some time after Adepticon at the Hive Scum studio and with Gage and such, and they thought it was the perfect time to actually get him on the Hive Scum podcast because he may not have. I don't think he was on it before.
that makes sense.
I guess
And
we interviewed him when we were at Adepticon a bit, which was fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think it is just a good opportunity to see cool people. Because it, brings a lot of different people there, not just from like kind of this 28 adjacent community, but they're the ones most closely aligned with Hive Scum's focus.
yeah.
But I guess I haven't listened to all of it, but it was fun and like good to hear. Yeah, just the interview process and hear more about what Trent's doing and how he's thinking about continuing his journey through the hobby. And I think, particularly after spending a year or more doing perhaps even like almost daily live streams about the hobby and how he wants to kind of push past that.
That seems like an
do you think
exhausting thing. I mean,
It
even
does.
if it's just not trying to force yourself to do stuff, and it's hobby related. That
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, his YouTube channel, the most recent video was from 10 months ago. So
Yeah,
not
but
recent.
he has another one though, which features the like live stream, or perhaps not live stream, but more of an even more vlog style thing. I forget what
Does
it's
he has
called.
a Patreon too, right?
He does, yeah.
Does maybe he has specific videos for the Patreon? And oh my goodness, he has 1,179 members on Patreon. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay, he has just a channel called Trent Holbrook, which is
Oh.
his daily hobby vlog. So I haven't been following him super closely for the last year, but I kind of get the impression that he sort of detached from that main YouTube channel that he had done for a while and focused on just, I guess, vlogging, what he's doing each day. And I think he kind of touched on it, like, it was hard to keep up, expensive to have a studio space and such, which is what he had been doing for a while during the main miscast years. So this was, I guess, just a different way to share what he's doing and perhaps not need as much space and that type of thing. But with that said, I don't know if he plans to go back to the other one, or how that, yeah, what I'll do next. But it's still fun to hear him chat. Like he does a lot of cool stuff, done a lot of neat casting and sculpting, and done a lot of neat collaborations with various other people in the community, many of which aren't quite so tied down to Games Workshop games and products, which is neat.
We has some miniatures that you can now buy through like Smash Bash, and
yeah, that's
doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he does.
there are a lot of Smash Bashes selling a lot fast manner than have their like, blister pack um Asian
Matt has done quite a lot to continue to expand what he's doing through Smash Bash, which is nice that he's been able to keep doing things with that and expand it past just the, like a yearly contest.
the little miscast the ad. Mark this.
Do you still hear him, Greg?
I do.
Do you still hear me now? Okay.
I can. Yeah.
So maybe it's on my end. It periodically is hanging.
Well,
Hopefully, it's just on my end.
there is. But I quite like the little miscasting dash web.
Is this the four little dudes bundled together?
Now these are
It's the four little dudes bundled together that I think you may have purchased at one point are really cool.
I have been. Oh, Masters?
Uh, oh yeah, yeah. His demons are really cool, and we should probably get at one point like there's the witty miscast little goblin model.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just goblin. Yeah, I guess this also. I need to get a fun exercise. I've done enough, like, sculpting here and there of random stuff, but I'm
No,
more.
yeah, that would be nice. And it's cool that Matt through Smash Bash is giving an opportunity for independent creators to actually share some of their work like that. Make, I guess, an easier place for newer people to go and see some things like this and not know, like, because
Yeah,
I don't know, even if you're relatively tuned into this community, it can be hard to really know what's going on. Like, I feel I'm at least partially aware, but I didn't realize Trent was doing these the live stream stuff and all that. It's just hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah, I don't keep up with it.
well, I guess that's it. Bash is again the happens that is happening. Team
Is what?
Keith.
Teeth? Like
Yeah, like with teeth.
Teeth?
Mm.
With teeth. That
When was
class.
this?
I
Song.
just
When was
went,
this announced?
or I don't know. This 2026. If we get Smash Bash 20, what is Smash Bash? Teeth. And then what's the
Well, you know
cat?
what? Yeah, I sort of wonder if perhaps this is me just growing detached, but it also seems like a lot of the way I used to interface with the community was through Instagram, at least for the last few years. And the way it's so much focusing on reels and advertising things, I just go on it less and less. So I don't
It's so
feel like I.
wild how much advertisements there are. Like, as an example, um, and this is maybe going into like I've been doing a lot of running, and like I told you both of you that I ran 13.2 miles yesterday. So that's a half marathon. And after doing that, one of my knees is a little like sore and it like hurts a little bit. And did I maybe I did a Google search about it, but now all day if I go on Instagram, there are advertisements about these like a compression sleeve to put over your knees to like have better support for your knees because I guess a lot of times like if you run a bunch
Mhm.
like a lot of extra force goes on the knees and if you have like some sort of compression thing that like better distributes like the force on the knee, it will help prevent that. And it's like I just ran the thing yesterday and I was thinking about like, oh, maybe I need to do some stretches or do something to help with that. And then like, holy fuck, every time I would look at it today, there were different brands with their advertisements announcements about like wild.
You know,
Yeah, that is funny. Oh yeah, and because of it, I just don't spend much time there because it's like hard to look at it. I guess towards that end, earlier this week, I was on there and I was fed. I was fed something. I don't think by something I followed, but it keyed me on to a documentary by Werner Herzog called
uh,
Lessons of Darkness. And it led me to watch that yesterday, which is like, I don't know, it's like a 54-minute documentary showing footage of post Gulf War Kuwait and all these like burning oil fields, primarily that after the conflict, a lot of these oil fields were set on fire and whatnot.
yeah,
And it's a pretty haunting uh, depiction and uh,
Also, reading about it, like one, he doesn't have like any real establishing shots to give you a sense of like where all this stuff's happening. So to, I think, try to give it like an otherworldly look to it. And
yeah, it doesn't say
unlike,
where it is. It doesn't like give you real context. Like it says like, oh, this is before the war, then the war happens for a couple hours, then like everything's changed, but it doesn't really tell you about it, and it doesn't go in between sections of like providing context and saying like because of this happened or whatever. It's primarily just showing
yeah, so I
scenes.
feel that is somewhat different from what I normally think of with like a documentary style film where they're trying real hard to like educate you about a thing. Not to say that this probably isn't educational, but
It is
it's
not.
perhaps different take on it.
It's
Well,
not
I mean, it's
educational in
very
the
nerd,
sense of like learning
yeah,
facts, but
but like
it
they're
is like
experiencing in
you
some way
reflect
all
on
of
it
this
and
like
yeah.
heavy imagery.
Yeah, there's a lot of footage towards the latter half of a company that I guess was commissioned or brought in probably by the West to try to salvage some of the money they put into building some of these oil fields. Like, I admittedly don't know a ton about it, but I assume money was invested in some way or another. But in this organization that, like, yes, specializes in things like oil disasters and putting out fires and such in them. And interesting to see some of the process and learn a bit about it, even though yeah, they don't really tell you what they're doing, but you figure it out. I mean, I guess it's sort of a spoiler, but not really. Uh, Close to the end, you see them, or like after doing all this work, minutes of trying to put out these fires, you see like one of these oil wells just gushing oil up into the sky, and then they just like light it back on fire again, which is kind of surprising. But I think it's just because if they try to like when containing stuff like that, if they try to cap something and it doesn't work, it's better to just set it on fire so it's not spraying oil everywhere and whatnot until they can rework on it and try something else to contain it. But
Well,
uh,
if you look at the Lessons of Darkness Wikipedia page, there's a picture associated with it that has the quote, "Has life without fire become unbearable for them?"
Yeah, no, that's a picture of it happening right after,
Yeah.
which is kind of misleading because like that I think is kind of standard practice for trying to contain stuff. Like, but it was a it was a pretty striking scene. And it goes between various little sections that just have like part one and various things. One of the first is like the capital city, and one of them is Satan's National Park. I mean, they're in German, so, uh, but yeah, it's interesting, and you can watch. It's for free. You can watch it for free on YouTube, and it's like less than an hour. So
One thing, our discussions here remind me of another. We haven't been streaming lately. Like, there's a new initiative started, 28 blogs, which is essentially just a website, 28 blogs as like a RSS feed of Inc. 28 like hobby community blogs to help people who are still interested in reading blogs. And it
that's nice. Do you know who started this?
um if you look on their website, there's an about section that kind of like talks a bit about it. Go there. People still hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was Paul, like
Yeah.
Mordheim Paul, Weirdstone Paul. I think it was Paul, if I remember correctly.
So
I did prize. If you are interested in contributing, email me weirdstone at yeah. So it's Mordheim Paul.
and the
That's nice.
for us to figure out or like active and certainly if think of active about some of the stuff now they have like a little blogs that are on this, which is nice.
That is nice because I feel it kind of seems a nice response because of, like we mentioned, Instagram being, I don't know, kind of harder to use it in a productive, meaningful way rather than just being fed ads.
But I think there are more blogs on I'd look, so that's good. So there are a whole collection. I feel if depending on who you are and how you do things, every morning check this to see if there are any new yet. So certainly something to keep in mind. Yeah.
No, yeah, I might have to try to do that because nice to support that.
Yeah. And I
And
think
is it on the main page? They will just like post when a new thing is posted on one of these blogs. It displays it.
yeah, so if
Oh
we
yeah, here's
look at the main page, we
again.
scroll down a little hour. So as soon as we put another blog, like I
Yeah,
used,
that's a good effort.
and I mean I have some of the things. I still get notifications from certain a convert for upper. I get there, but I feel since Instagram and some of the other social things have really come a lot more commercialized, yeah, there is more of a go back to other means getting information, and so that I think is at least a way to keep updated about something going on.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm most interested in this handle here, Legendary Blog. So if you click on that, it just says coming. I mean, I would imagine this
I
are things like for old blogs that like are no longer us, but I don't know if it'll just be
like
something.
5 points of Aries, like I could see
Yeah,
that going on there. I
yeah.
mean, maybe even Iron Sleet, but if uh I don't know if it's still around, but Tim Malloy's stuff used to like for the Yggdrasolium or some of that stuff that could go there. Neil 101, like his blog, some of that stuff I could see.
Spiky Rat Pack.
Oh, that's a good would be a good one.
Yeah, like some of those, like Alex's bells go
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't know. A curious list of blogs from the days. So list. So I guess we don't know what it this.
But
But
yeah,
they could also
a
have a
good
thing with
effort.
old dead forums and stuff like Ammo. Yeah. But okay, yeah. So that's something for people to know of other cool blogs that aren't a part. Get them at. I guess one thing we can at least briefly touch on, you, Eric, maybe you, Greg, of the printed Trench Crusade rulebook, and
We did.
Yeah, I got a copy.
and it's kind of interesting to like actually see the physical thing of the book, and overall, I would say it's quite nice. It opens very well. The printing good. The only thing that the most jarring thing about it, I think, and you can even see it on screen a little bit from me holding it up. I'm not sure why they chose a glossy finished cover. I don't like it. The glossy finish,
Yeah, I feel
it looks kind of cheap when it's like in fact it really isn't, but it looks kind of cheap. It magnifies and really holds on to any fingerprints. If there's a light scuff, damage to the surface of the book, it stands out like something fierce. And because like when it was shipped to me, like it was packaged like surprisingly well. It wrapped, it had an external box to keep it safe. And despite that, the cover is just covered and riddled in scratches and all sorts of other stuff that feel if it had more of a matte finish,
it would
that
be
stuff
minimized. It
wouldn't be as obvious.
yeah. Cause yeah, it's nice. It opens well. It's was shipped well. It just seems like nice materials, well printed. But
Lots of artwork.
why, for all the attention to detail and thought behind it, why they would make it glossy like this, it kind of astounds me.
I would
I mean,
imagine
I know
someone
lots of
they
like,
just I guess a lot of the old
Yeah.
GW, or at least some of them, had a gloss. Like to me, it really
Well, and
reminds
it's
me.
also like pure black, or a lot of
That's
it's
true
black,
too.
so it's even more obvious. Whereas if it was other colors, maybe it wouldn't be quite as obvious. But yeah, it seems like a weird choice that
Well,
like I know a lot of technology companies will use that because they think it will be shiny and stand out, and people will notice it and maybe want to buy it. But people almost universally revile it.
like, do you think it was just because like the covering they chose glossy look to it, and they wanted to complement that with finish on the book? That's the
Perhaps,
only
but
I
you'd think if that was really what they
they
wanted,
could have
like
just
they
had
could have
that
done
part of
like
it.
Like spot,
yeah, they would have had to spend more
spot,
money for it.
or- or-
But like 28 collected's printing, it has something like that where the 28 only the 28 and maybe the eyes of this John Blanche piece are that kind of glossy material. And my guess is it picks up some fingerprints on it, but since it's so minor, you just don't notice it in the same way. But overall, like the book looks nice, great, lots of really good artwork, good graphic design, good book layout and design. So it's a pretty striking and good looking book. And if the price tag on the back says it's 49.99 US dollars, which
is a
is
good
not
price,
expensive. Yeah. I mean,
particularly given GW prices for things.
yeah, you can't buy it at the moment, but I think it was already suggested that you will be able to in time. But I think they're still in the process of sending it out to Kickstarter backers and so forth. Like I think, but they've been in the shipping process for maybe a month or two now. I'm not entirely sure, but
Yeah, I think
it
overall for like the first print, yeah, I almost would have had nothing bad to say about it. Didn't have the glossy.
yeah, I think it's a strong effort. Like it honestly reminds me of some of Games Workshop printed books, their latter books. Or I mean, I guess I don't know what they look like now.
Oh,
I've been
actually,
detached from their core editions and so forth, but
but one other question I had: what do people think about the little cloth bookmarks? It
hate
books
them.
like I hate them. I
I don't like them.
like. There's one in there. Does anyone use that as like a bookmark? I mean, maybe I should
I
start
assume
trying to
some
do it. Like I've never
some
done it.
people who use it for rules and like actually access them for rules stuff,
But
I
like, why
think it
wouldn't you just
could be
dog ear the
fine.
pages?
Yeah, right. I mean, and for
I'm
something like Trench
sure.
Crusade, where it does have uh, campaign rules and stuff like that, like I could see you wanting to go back to that table and such. But from a point of just keeping a book nice, I just dislike them because they're a bit too thick, so they like permanently or semi-permanently mark the pages. Like if you keep them in there too long, it
They'll stain
like
them
you can tell
too.
it was there, and I just don't like it. And for 28 collected, the first couple volumes that I saw of it after it was printed, it had maybe one or perhaps two of those little bookmarks, and the printing company didn't seat them in properly. So that kind of it's like, yep, I hate these things. I mean, I think it was a very there weren't many most of the printings of it and attachments were good, but just seeing that, it was like, yeah, I don't like it. I
Well,
kind of
so
feel it's something that they just put it in there to be like, this is a
this is a
quality book.
premium
Quality
thing.
books do that.
Yeah, that. I'm pretty sure I read somebody reviewing something recently. It might have been somebody with a critical review of the 1490 Doom book, and they were
Mm.
upset that it didn't have one of them.
Like,
Yeah.
right, we have that book, right? We should do like we look at that and like we should hammer
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really related, but it kind of reminds me of like phone charging cables, USB-C cables, that now it's just like if it's not a braided cable, it's not a good cable,
I
even
don't
though
like braided cables.
I think
I
it's
hate
just
them.
something that they put it in there to make it seem like it's a better cable in some way, but it has very little functional difference and is, oh yeah, it's
I
not a
hate
true
braided
reflection of
cables.
quality.
well, I will say this: the bookmark at least did copy that I got. It doesn't look like the color of the bookmark is leaking out in.
Nice. I don't think
so
mine
that's
was either, but
so that's pretty cool. I'm all, but yeah. So it was neat to finally get that. Like I need to kind of get back to some work on the initial Trench Crusade plastic models. Like I put a lot of work. Eventually, one of these have a post showing a model or made with it out the actual plastic. So I should get back to that. But I guess right now my efforts still been focused on the Gobo version. I've haven't had as much past week. I think before the end of this have them all. Probably another maybe look
mhm.
into 28. I guess this I don't know if
Mine
I'll
has
have
been focused on nothing, as is often the
well I
case.
was gonna say if I don't know if I'm gonna be able to because I'm not gonna have a time in May. But if I could somehow painting the Dead Gobo by the end, they would be the perfect Smash Bash entry.
That's a lot of teeth. You even fix the
Yeah,
teeth.
yes, yeah, you fix the teeth,
Uh
it
huh.
really would be.
Yeah, it
Well,
would be
that's a
good.
good thing. Is that when the contest is over?
I think May 31st, last day.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing to try to push yourself to do.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be
And
And
away for a long photographing,
mm,
so
that's better than
it'd be
yeah,
a
I
going.
wildly appropriate thing for teeth, though.
I don't know. Maybe yeah, maybe I'll for and
Well, you don't have to
like
paint it well,
yeah,
Adam.
I can just paint it a little bit. Focus on painting and highlighting the model. Take some Eric. You can help us take some movie photos. That's
That's the
it.
way.
I don't. Maybe that's what I. Yeah, that's perfect.
Was there thought about casting this dude once you're done building him? That would take time.
So there was talk,
Yeah.
and but I mean it'll take time. I think if I can get them all, and
Yeah. And provided I mean, I have some silicone, but I assume it's been too long and it's all solidified on me. But it'll be really I mean, I already made the mold of this model, like the main model that
Yeah.
you converting, so it'll take about a day to make that mold.
Oh, that yeah. All right, we on stream made the plan on the,
And what a plan.
and then we
Yeah,
should
I mean, I think it's good.
once
It's quite good.
once you've made them all, um,
Yeah. Like there will be people that don't realize that any work was done on the Red Gobo
oh yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's true.
People like I
Well, a
feel
lot
people.
won't even recognize the model.
So it could
Yeah.
also be the thing. I could also um enter them all. But oh
True.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a thing that like some of the like hardcore good painters come out to that like they probably spent a month painting a single ultramarine space marine.
I mean, I
Well,
think
Adam,
And
you're
if
a pretty good painter, but yeah, it's well, that kind of similar to something like Golden Demon. Like, you can be like one of the world's best painters, but some of them, it's like you spent 1,000 hours painting this thing. Like, it's hard to compete with that.
well, and also I think with the Golden Demon, it's very much a Games Workshop thing where they want to be seeing models of theirs that people could
Hmm.
buy.
Yeah.
no one wants to go, but
There's
they do. They want
talk,
to see the new sculpts of them all.
which the new ones aren't very good.
No.
They're fine. They have none of the characters.
Yeah.
Wow, look at us making and
Making plans.
kind of excited.
Well, I think it's genuinely a good idea for the teeth theme.
It is.
And it's just a good way to like uh, do a conversion, finish a conversion, and like almost immediately just try to finish it. Because, like with so many things, it's easy to start something and then kind of move off onto something else. And then, like, to come back to it is just really hard.
I mean, I'm already doing.
Mm,
That's fair. Well, this is also an orc, so you
Yeah,
can
so I I
maybe
I I think
go back
I
to it.
can.
Incredible. Well,
But well, I think
I
on
think.
this model, what I still need to sculpt his pants, do some club with balls, and I photo I
No, that
have up.
makes sense.
And you can't see all the stuff that I've done on the but I still have a. I'm hoping I can get a lot of that accomplished. But
Yeah,
ideally, there'll be a
okay.
blog
Well,
post about them all by the end.
mhm. Well, I think we've talked about a bunch of things, but we should really get to the only thing that matters and start talking about new Space Marines. Because there
Oh,
was a new Space Marine model revealed.
oh god.
It's just the Chaplain model.
he was revealed on 420, so the marijuana smoking.
It even has a I kind of it even has a I kind of think they have some dumb name like executioner bolt pistol or something like that.
Mm.
And keeping on doing that is just
Look at that big book he
the
has.
book of rage, clearly.
Yeah, like to me, this is just another adequate model. Certainly not excited about
Admittedly,
it.
the skull helmet looks better than 90% of Chaplin models. I mean,
Yeah.
it does come back to like this. There's this weird thing where, at least for Warhammer 40,000, like there are skulls everywhere. Like that's such a core motif, but somehow there are no cool looking skull helmets. And this I think is one of the best, like the closest to being a cool
It's
looking skull helmet.
I would say it still looks bad. Like the nostrils, like of the
Yeah,
teeth are too big.
The
They almost
hole.
don't look great and properly along. Kind of weird. I this models like this, Space Marine out sometimes they will Space Marine ever begin. They have models have like personality and character. Like
I don't think they ever will. Again, at least from Games Workshop. Yeah, I don't think it will. Which is perhaps a bit sad, but
yeah, because again, like it's
not really
Yeah, because
surprising.
back in our they were cool sometimes.
I would say the model is certainly very well
Maybe that's the
looks sort of like quite its action.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think it truly is sort of at this point that this is, I think, almost the best one could ever hope from a Space Marine from Games Workshop. A model that is technically well done and not wildly over like exaggerated or like it's just a Space Marine.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So it's fine. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think too much has been happening with the Warhammer community. I think they've continued to release small snippets of rules that I don't read and don't care to read. I
Well,
guess it's one of those things. Once the new edition's released, I probably wouldn't mind like seeing and getting one of the core rule books in some
yeah,
sense
like
to
spend a
compare it
hundred
to like this
dollars.
Trench Crusade rule book. But that's the thing. Like I don't think I will actually do it because we talk about, I think we did, the there was a jump pack marine that was also revealed, but just one like a sergeant model with like a power sword and one of the bigger, dumber plasma pistols. Did we talk about that last week?
I think we did a little. Yeah, and how they no longer have this absence.
Which, admittedly, looking back at that model, well, the legs perhaps look a bit weird because they're just sort of dangling there. I think that's just what it would look like. But the impressive thing is the loincloth that he has is like between their legs. Like the legs aren't, they didn't force it into a really wide stance because they don't know how to sculpt cloth. hanging down there. So that's
Yeah.
actually kind of surprising. Which admittedly the chaplain, they have a bunch of like purity seals down there, which made it a bit harder.
Something.
I think Yarrick is gonna be maybe up for pre-order this week, next week, along with Wazdock, Gutsmeek, and there's a s- special commissar, special character called Graves, Commissar Graves, that they have a version of her in this big
Oh,
armored
you
carrier thing, as well as a separate one of her on foot. And the model looks terrible. Like the one not on foot, like she has her power fist off to the side, and it looks like weirdly disjointed and like almost like she has an extra elbow or something. I mean, the picture's small and hard to see exactly. But then the one of her on foot looks so awkward,
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
and that's a shame. But maybe we don't have to continue because
can't
I
all.
mean it's a Games
Yeah,
Workshop model. It's a Games Workshop model. You kind of think a good looking Games Workshop model is sort of the exception rather than the rule. So
yeah.
Fucking.
but they still look I don't know, something about how the coat is there. It almost looks like legs aren't underneath that coat. But then when the legs spill out of the coat, the legs become really puffy and like there's no shape there, which I know you've talked about it in the past, Adam, how the Cadian models almost look like they have really thick or
Balloon.
balloon pants that there aren't defined creases and they certainly weren't tailored to fit a person. And it's just like a nondescript tube of putty, or like that they're wearing an inflatable suit, like a mascot suit that actually has like little fans in there that like blow it up. You know, like an inflatable T-Rex costume or something that just sort of blow and inflate the legs for some reason. The the Graves model walking their boots, they're like clearly supposed to be leather boots that are like creasing because they're moving, and that they it doesn't look natural, and perhaps that speaks to the idea that the sculptor didn't put in the time or didn't have the time to like actually like look at how leather folds, similar to how no time was spent to like for their pants for how cloth moves. Yeah, they're just really awkward looking. I guess they probably look slightly better in person because they're much smaller than these big blown up pictures. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess there's just so many of them. You look at them and they're semi neat, but they just look awkward, like uncanny valley awkwardness and different aspects of like it kind of looks like a person or a thing, but also kind of doesn't.
I like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose.
Um, I feel like I need to go to bed.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
we
I
can
probably
stop.
should.
Yeah, we can just
Like
stop.
we said some things.
Yeah, I guess.
We complained about some models.
Well, I
Well,
guess.
I
Back
guess
to
if we
form.
keep trying to do this every week, it will
Yeah, I mean, I guess
turn back into
everybody.
maybe
Thanks for
a
listening.
thing.
Here, check out the 8blogs. Find some blogs and stuff that you check out the Hive Scum cast. Check Trent Midcast, different channels. Look into Smash Bash. Enter Smash Bash. But yeah, there's lots of stuff out there to be out and look into. So, go on and join the hobby. Stay next time.